Let's get straight into our political panel. Nationals Paul Goldsmith and Labor's Willie Jackson. Kia ora, great to have you here. Well, first up, Paul, why isn't the government doing more to make big tech firms like Meta accountable?
Well, first point I'd make is it's first-class journalism. That's the sort of stuff that really puts pressure on organisations that aren't doing the right thing. And certainly, as Minister of Justice, I'll be asking some tough questions about how's this happening, what's going on. Ultimately, decisions around prosecution are things for police and authorities to make, and I can't, as a politician, interfere with that. But on the surface of it, it's outrageous.
And so, just to clarify, you're going to be contacting Meta as a result of this story and asking them what the hell's going on, because these drugs are still online this morning.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. My understanding is that there is a provision in the Telecommunications Act, the exclusion of liability, that protects companies like Meta from hosting third-party content. Can't we change that, or is that just too hard?
Well, I mean, that is a very, very big issue and a global issue with global ramifications. But there is a social licence for any large
Why is
organisation.
it such a big issue?
Well, because just of the scale of the challenge and the mechanics of how you can do that. And I'm not here to defend Meta or Facebook and what's going on this in any way, shape or form. That's something that they should be doing better on, and we'll be making that clear to them.
Willie, do you just think that Meta and some social media companies are just sort of running roughshod over our rules? They don't really care?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, and it's an indictment on them. But you have to remind the Minister here that he's the Minister of Broadcasting too, not just the Minister of Justice.
Yes.
And you're dealing with these big companies. Instead of cutting them tax credits and sort of looking after them, should actually impose some rules. I mean, this is just an absolute disgrace. Shows the arrogance of these companies that they can get away with this sort of stuff. But we've said for some time that we should tighten up those relationships with these big companies. Look at the sort of billions they're taking out of this country, Michael, and no regard at all for what's happening. I mean, it's just such a shocking story. Well done. But I think the minister has to really.
What did you do when you were in government?
Well, we never had this. We never had the story when we were in government.
No, but this issue's been going on.
No, hold on. I've met with the companies constantly, try to put some pressure on them in terms of contributing to other New Zealand companies with all their profits. And in fact, we were in the process of putting a bill in place so that they would make a contribution to this country. Well, this minister here has stopped it. No, it's not a different issue. It's about making them accountable, making them responsible in terms of this country. And this minister hasn't done anything.
Yeah, are you going to do something, Minister?
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
apart from sending them an email and saying this is pretty average, you're allowing drugs to be peddled to kids on social media. Are you going to do anything about it?
Well, we'll certainly be having that conversation. But ultimately, there's a question of do we need to change the law or not? There are laws in place that the authorities can use in these situations, but obviously they're independent. They need to make those decisions. But in terms of that broader relationship with Meta and all those big companies, yes, we do need to put pressure on, but we're also mindful of the global context.
Don't cut them another tax break. No, right? Well, you looked after them in the last budget. So.
Yeah. I mean, just electoral reform. We'll go on to that. I mean, you're stopping same-day enrolments, no free food at voting places, no prisoner voting. Why are you doing this?
Well, I mean, we've got a great electoral system overall. It's one of the jewels of our democracy. We want to make sure that it's sustainable. It used to be that you could get a final result at the election in 2 weeks. Last time it was 3 weeks. All the advice I've got is that if we don't do anything, we'll be heading into the 4th week before we can find out who actually won the election.
Why don't you just get more people in to count the votes?
Well, we've got a lot of people in there already, and it's a very manual process. But if people are enrolling on election day, then you have to confirm all those before you can start the special votes, and it's putting an unbearable pressure on the system. Willie, we don't think it's a reasonable thing for people to get enrolled.
Yeah, okay. But Willie, who do you think will benefit from this change, especially stopping same-day enrolment?
Well, Goldie and his mates. I mean, that's what's driving this. This is what's called gerrymandering. They're looking after themselves. We're talking about up to 200,000 people being denied their democratic right to vote.
Absolutely not. That is wrong.
We
It's
should
completely wrong,
be
Willie.
making things easier for people to vote, and not making it harder. It is just a shocking decision, Michael. We talked about 100,000 signing up on the last time. So this is a government who are nervous, who are worried about things. Goldie's got the direction from the top right. How do we cut some of those votes back?
To an extent, don't people need to be a little bit more organised?
No, of course people are.
In Australia.
Of course people are
Okay,
organised.
Willie, you talk all the time. In Australia, you need to be enrolled 26 days before the election. Are we really saying that we're not as clever as the Aussies and we can't get our act together to get enrolled?
Okay, but do you know, has National worked out exactly who those 100,000 late enrollers are? Who did they vote for?
Well,
Have you done that research before you announced this policy?
That's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. It's very, very relevant.
No, it's not, because those people responded to the message that they had, which was, don't worry, you don't need to get enrolled, you can just do it when you go and vote. We're going to send a different message over the next year and say, actually, no, if you do want to vote, you've got to get enrolled.
I can help.
There won't be 100,000 people, there'll be, and people will be enrolled properly.
Young people, Māoris, working class people. These are the people that these guys don't support. These people have got stresses in their lives. They've got a lot of things happening. What we tried to do, Michael, was make things easier. We want people to vote. We want people to have their democratic right. They're not all organised like Goldie and Seymour over there in Epsom, People are working 60, 70 hours a week. Give them their opportunity.
And the Aussies can manage it.
We're not Aussie. Put some more resources into the system instead of cutting out the democratic rights.
Fair points.
If you're saying your voters
good
can't manage
average
to get
people.
themselves organised,
It is a shocking, disgraceful decision, Goldie, and you and Seymour should hang your heads in
fair
shame.
points from both of you. We've got to move on to passports. The Minister for Internal Affairs has confirmed the New Zealand passport is in the process of being changed to have English appear before Te Reo Māori text. This sounds like a massive waste of time.
Look, their government, of course, sort of changed it around, and I don't think it's an unreasonable thing if you're in a global context that the first thing that people see is in the English language that they understand. So that's something that the Minister is going to put in place.
How much is it going to cost to change the text and do all the reprinting?
My imagining is that when the current lot rolls out, they'll move on to the next one.
Do you have a problem with Aotearoa in New Zealand? The term Aotearoa?
No, but I mean, in our coalition agreement, we did make the point that the name of the country is New Zealand until we have a referendum to change it.
So it's New Zealand First who said, hey, we're going to change the passports.
You don't sort of just, if you want to change the name of the country, you should have a debate about it and have a referendum like we did with a flag and things like that. That's not an unreasonable thing.
What do you think, Willie?
Well, to be fair to him, he doesn't have a problem with Aotearoa, but the problem he's got is Winston in them, and they're absolutely obsessed with changing things in terms of Te Reo Māori. It's such a nonsense, they're embarrassing themselves, Winston and them now. The reality is this is Aotearoa New Zealand. A lot of young people have brought into it.
Should we have a referendum on?
We don't even need a referendum. Māori is the official language of this country, along with English, and we should embrace it. This is an insult to Te Reo Māori, but it's part of the constant attacks from Goldie, who can't stand up to Winston or David Seymour.
No,
and they're smiling now, and it's a sad indictment on
the primary stuff that we're focused on.
Part of
the problem is that the view from the public is that you're dealing with all these sort of peripheral issues, like removing the guidelines from community sport for transgender. I mean, who cares? They were already there. They're not even mandated rules. Why not just leave them in there?
Another Winston obsession.
Look, that's something that the individual sports can focus on. But yes, it's up to you what you want to focus on. If you want to talk to us about how we're growing the economy, I'm very happy to talk about it.
We do want to talk about the economy.
We could get some jobs as Neff's off the couch as old.
Michael, we do want to talk about the economy, but then they start attacking the transgenders and what's wrong with them going out and playing a bit of touch? We're not talking about Sonny Bill going to the Blackferns or anything.
I coach my kids' football every Saturday morning, and at primary school level, and I don't know what would happen in the future in intermediate, but if there were some guidelines, they'd probably be pretty helpful, because essentially, don't you just want people to be included in
participate.
sport.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody is against that.
No, well, Goldie's not, but his mate Winston and Seymour, they'll keep attacking communities. Here's the problem: you've got a weak Prime Minister who can't stand up to his coalition partners. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to expose this government constantly on
All
the
right,
show.
hey guys,
Thank
look,
you for
we've
the
got to
opportunity.
leave it there. Willie Jackson, Paul Goldsmith, we really appreciate you coming in and speaking
Kia
with us on the
ora,
Herald Now.
thank
Kia ora
you.
to both of you.